think that's even like a subconscious fear, even if people aren't articulating it. Like, that's why I don't approach. Everyone is just acting as if they're on display because they could be. But that's not a good enough excuse to not be approaching.
Yeah. So how do we get tactical here in terms of the approach? Because I think especially the more successful guys, very analytical. They've got millions of things that are going inside their heads. And I think it gets a lot easier once you get out of your head, but it's obviously easier said than done. How do you actually go in and approach? What are simple liners that don't feel fake, but can make it easy for someone that maybe have approach anxiety?
I think the thing you said there is really key. It's simple. You don't need the perfect line. You don't even need something that is specific to the situation. You can keep it really, really simple. Have a few quote lines that feel authentic to you that you can use in a variety of situations. So things like, maybe if it's someplace you go often, like your co-working space or the gym or the lobby of your building, you might say something like, hey, I've seen you here before, but I don't think we've met before. My name's Sean. So simple. Or maybe you're at a bar and you made eye contact and then she looked away and she's with her friends. Hey, I think we made eye contact before, so I wanted to come over and introduce myself. It's direct. You're giving a reason for it. It's honest. Great. Or, hey, I saw you from across the room and I thought you were beautiful or really cute or had great energy, so I wanted to come and say hello. Those are attractive because you're being direct. You're not even looking for a reason that's like, oh, I'm not actually approaching you because I'm interested. It's because I need to know where you bought that coffee, but actually I am interested, which like I'm okay with also whatever gets you to approach, frankly. So if you want to ask her like, oh, I'm looking for a coffee, where'd you get that? Like, okay, also. But I think the ones I just gave, they're generic, sure. But then from there, if you can jump off and have a conversation, it's going to be great. Because like at the end of the day, she knows why you're approaching,
Right.
Like if you approach confidently, eye contact, smile on your face, what you say actually matters a lot less than you think.
It's such a good point because I've actually recently had this experience where it was like a second or third date. It's actually happened twice where the girl asked, like, how did we initially meet? Like, what did you say? I didn't know. She didn't know. It didn't matter. And I think the same was even on Instagram DM. Obviously, you have proof that you can check what I said, but it's like none of that really matters. I think, as you mentioned, the vibe that you give off is so much more important than exactly what to craft.
Especially in person,
Especially in person.
Yeah, I think Instagram's a little bit, a lot of like the weight is going to be carried by your profile. Like the more appealing your profile is, the less it matters what you say.
Yeah.
And the like less appealing your profile is, or just like less data there is there, then the more important it is what you say. Because like how are you going to stand out from like the probably 10s to 20s to hundreds of other DMs she's getting? But in person, she's taking you in as a whole. The tone of your voice, the amount of eye contact, your confidence, your posture, what you're wearing, your smile, all of that plays into how she is taking you in, not just the words you say.
Yeah. And like the guy that mentioned it, just approaching in person is such a big difference because on a dating app, she probably has like 1,000 likes.
Totally.
That she's going through. But how many people actually approach her in a month?
Not very many.
Maybe even a year. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right.
I think depending on where a woman lives and like obviously what her lifestyle is like, it can like literally be zero. And I talk to women all the time. We're like, I wish I was approached by more men. I'm never approached by men.
Yeah. The other thing is, I think it's easy to take it really personal when someone potentially doesn't carry forward, or if she gives you the wrong number or whatever it might be, that it was her looks. And it makes me think about this study that Paul Eastwick that I talked about. He says that on average, it's about a coin flip. So 53% chance that one person might find you attractive while the other person doesn't.
Interesting.
So obviously you have the outliers where everybody finds attractive or everybody doesn't. But then on average, it's like a really 50-50 chance. So Jeff Bezos, who's a billionaire and incredibly high status, not all girls are going to like Jeff Bezos, right? People
Yeah.
even debate now whether they like Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio. So everybody has their own type. Some people like nerds. Some people like people that are
Totally.
shorter, people like with blonde hair. So it's like, you just got to figure out what your type is and who you're trying to attract,
Yeah.
not try to go for
Everyone.
the 10
Yeah.
Victoria's Secret model, right?
Yeah, the top 10%.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting too. And I think it should actually be reassuring as a guy. We've spent so much time talking about how looks aren't the most important thing. So, yeah, okay, even let's say 50% of women find you unattractive. It should be reassuring that there's like so much more that can make a man attractive than just his looks. You know, like, okay, so let's just rule out 50% of the other 50%. Like, she's going to put a lot more weight in all of the other things you bring to the table than just your physical appearance. And I would also bet that some of that 50% that doesn't find a photo of you attractive or like an initial intake of you attractive could also find you attractive if they got to know you, and they just didn't have that chance because of that's how the cards fell and there wasn't the opportunity in that relationship, and like that's okay.
Yeah, I even had this personally growing up, which is I was born in Korea and I've always had freckles growing up. And in Asian culture, especially Korean culture, the standards of beauty are very different. I don't know how much you know about the culture there,
Not a 10.
but they usually look for skin that's super clear, white, a lot of influence from Western media. And growing up, my family always told me to try to figure out a way to wear sunscreen to get rid of the freckles, even have a procedure when I'm growing up. And I
Really?
grew up hating freckles, right? And then when I was about 7 or 8, I moved to Canada and I realized there everybody loves freckles
Yeah.
to the point where there's like Instagram filters
Yeah.
of girls
Or
using
makeup.
freckles and or
Yeah.
makeup.
Yeah.
And it just really made me think about this topic that we're having is like everybody has beautiful features, and what may not be beautiful to one person may be the most beautiful or adorable to another person. It's just, you can't really expect to please everybody.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of pressure off when it comes to approaching people, I feel.
Yeah, and nor should you want to appeal to everybody.
Yeah.
Like that, you're also not looking to date everybody. You're looking, most people are like ultimately looking to find their one person that they're compatible with. And like, how boring would it also be if we all had the exact same preferences and all looked the exact same?
Totally. Yeah. So you do a lot of matchmaking now, and that involves more than just approaching. It involves a bit later on, hopefully, to find a long-term partner, marriage, all that stuff. And I feel like we throw this term around like chasing versus attracting and all these things. Why do you think when people chase, the other person loses attraction for them?
Well, yeah, I think that goes back to what we said before. If you're having to chase, like you're not dating up. If that person is chasing you, that is implying that you are the catch here and that they are below you. They don't have options. And everybody likes the idea that the person they're with has other options and they have good options and they picked them. Whereas if you're chasing somebody, it doesn't signal those things.
How do you tell though between a woman wanting a guy that's persistent, someone that is knowing what they want and they try to go for it, versus someone that's chasing? What is the difference in terms of the actions and maybe even energy?
Yeah, I think that's a good call out. I think the actions difference is appropriateness. So it's appropriate to follow up after a date. It's appropriate to ask a girl on a second date. But if she doesn't reply, you move on. Chasing would be then following up again. Or she says she's not interested and you say like, oh no, come on, just give me one more chance. It's not being able to, when I think of chasing, I think of it as not being able to let go when she indicates that she is not willing to invest her energy in you.
Got it. You've kind of already answered it, but this is quite common where you're in a second date, third date, maybe even longer, and then someone pulls away all of a sudden. Maybe their texts get a little bit shorter, they take a long time to respond. What does someone do in that situation? And obviously it's dependent on whether it was just a first date or
Yeah.
or sixth date or relationship. But give some context in terms of,
What I typically advise my clients is match her energy. So if she's pulling back and you're going in harder, that's probably going to push her further away. Where oftentimes, if she's pulling back and you match that energy, it's going to encourage her to, lean back in or be interested. And if she doesn't, then like, okay, maybe you just weren't meant to be. But if you feel like you need to convince her or secure her or like lock her down, that all goes back to that's that energy of I'm not worthy. She's better than I am. And I need to like win this prize or secure this prize, as opposed to the energy of like, I'm awesome. I think she's awesome too. So if she sees that in me, we can mutually come into this relationship and like see where it goes. And if it doesn't work out, then okay, I know I'm awesome, so I'll go attract somebody else.
right. And I
That's
guess
the mindset you need.
this is where having a life outside of just dating
Totally.
also really helps.
Because if all of your eggs are in this dating basket and you go on this date and she's beautiful and she's smart and she's funny and oh my God, like I want it to work out with her so bad, and you're spending all of your time thinking about her and texting her, like not only is that going to push her away and turn her off, but then when it doesn't work out, you can't go be distracted at your rec volleyball league or go lose your mind while you paint or do an art activity. Like go out with your friends and meet more people because you don't have those things to fall back on.
Yeah, and that's where the energy of chasing, I feel, really comes into play. Is if you're just working and you're by yourself with your own thoughts and you don't have anyone else or something to do to distract yourself, especially in that emotional moment where you're so attached to someone emotionally and all of a sudden they're pulling back, you feel like you're losing something at the end of the day. And if you don't have something that can keep you afloat, keep you distracted, I think it's very easy to start chasing and to start going after something that is pulling away.
Yeah.
Which is going to make her pull away even
more, yeah.
Especially if she's an avoidant. Yeah. Criteria and selection. How do you advise men to, or what questions should men be asking for selecting the right partner and the right date in the first place?
Like what questions should they be asking the woman or like about the woman or things that they should be looking for?